Trojan Warriors, another great morning together. I'm always thankful for our time together. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's message where we were talking a little bit about Kobe, just his mindset. I'm definitely a firm believer that he's one of those people that if you just talk about his impact on the basketball court, then you're not doing him justice. Like Kobe, the way the brilliant of I don't even know what the word is, right? But like literally, when you listen to him speak, you're just in awe of his greatness, right? It's not enough that he's one of the best basketball players ever. It's not enough that he was able to transcend a historic franchise where he's kind of on that Mount Everest. It really comes down to me, at least his legacy. What I will always remember, what I will miss the most about Kobe is literally the brilliance that oozes from him effortlessly when he just sits in the chair and you know when you ask him a question that he is going to give you his genuine answer. And yes, it sounds polished. Yes, it sounds like it's covering all the bases, but that's just because he's a very thoughtful person. It's like you could tell that he just sits and he contemplates a lot, and that he really allows himself to really meditate on things where he has this deep understanding. And I would attribute that to, you could tell he gets a lot of his mindset from his parents. There are definitely some quotes where he's referring to his parents in different ways, different things that he's gotten from them. And I remember when I heard Walter Bonney spoke at what was it? It was a conference of African American financial planners, and he was one of the speakers. I was up in Atlanta, and it was at I believe it was the Hyatt that was there, and it was just a great conference. But one of the things that he was saying that was kind of a takeaway for me was he said, like, you're looking at a lot of these organizations, and he said, like the Patriots, for example, he said, that there are certain things that you hear them say a lot where it's like, nobody's above the sport. We're here to work. Today's is the yesterday, and we're always kind of grinding, right? Like that's the mindset. That's kind of the mission. And for Kobe, it was always just win, right? It seemed like his parents put it in him that, look, you have all the skill, you have all the talent, you have all the investment that a parent can make. You have your dad who's played professional, but at some point you just got to go out there and win, and you got to want to win more than anyone else on that court. Like you have to want it like you want your next breath. And you could feel that with Kobe, that he literally, when he went out there, that he wanted to win, and whatever it took to win, he was going to do that. And it was just so powerful. It just really speaks of his aura. So when he was talking and he was giving another talk where he's like, look, man, like sometimes when you're looking at some of the games, and he's like, you get tired. He's like, my dad told me that whenever your throat is dry, that you take your sweat from your jersey, put it in your mouth, and you suck your sweat off of your jersey. And when I was looking at that, I was like, did he just say what I thought he said? And and it's something that you just like, there's no one that would say, yeah, Kobe wouldn't do that. He's just talking. Like, that if it's a question of him going off the court or finishing something and he needs a drink and he can't get one, that, yeah, he's going to sit there and suck the sweat out of his jersey. And it is like, do you have that when you're going through your life, when you were talking about that Choja journey where you were going to rise to the challenge? Are you willing to rise to that level? Right? Like, I think sometimes we go around and we say, yeah, I'm willing to do everything. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to burn the bridges and all that stuff. But I don't know how many people really plan on, walking to the other side of that island. Right? Like, yeah, burn the bridges. I'm not going back home, but I'm just going to kind of sit here on the edge and I'm going to wait for everything to kind of just magically fall in place. But see, that's just not how it happens. Like, if your genuine desire is to make it where you can only go forward, well, then you gotta only go forward, baby. And right, that was the thing that you just knew with Kobe, that he was going forward. That if you put the ball in his hand, he was taking that game winning shot. But also in the sense that he just had that outlook in life, that it was never something that he just didn't go out somewhere for the sake of going out. It was always very intentional, and he always had different thoughts and that he was working on. I saw an interview where he was talking about just how much he invested in his ability to write. And I don't know if you had seen it, but he started writing a lot of books where it was going to motivate the next generation to not only chase their dreams but to put in that work ethic. And so if you really had to encapsulate Kobe's winner's mindset that his parents taught him, right? They taught him two things. Number one, they taught him to just be confident, right? To say, you know what has to be done will be done, and if someone's got to do it, why not me? Like Kobe had that legit where you just knew if he said something's wrong with the world, things could be better. I could be the person that fixes that. And I think that is just, it's so powerful. And then the second thing is you got to put in the work. It seemed very clear to me that he had the confidence to do anything, but he also had the willingness to put in the work to achieve it. And he said in the interview that in the books that he was writing and some of the stories that he was putting together, that he made sure that those were a part of the chemistry of in the fabric of the story. That you had to have the willingness to put the work in, and you have to have the desire and the mindset to chase your dream and to believe that you could catch it. And when you put those together, right, that is essentially what his winning mindset was. And it was something that when you look at where he was going to go from basketball, that he was going to dominate whatever venue that he was in, that he was going to change the way that media was done, that whether it was his podcast that was putting out or whether it was the books that he was writing, that you just knew that he was going to change the way that people interacted with the world, and he was going to leave his mark to make the world that much better. And so the good news is he's already left his mark. I mean, you've probably seen a lot of the tributes. I mean, heck, I'm talking about him like it's already there, but it just really is. I just really want to make sure that we don't overlook just how brilliant of a person he was and the mindset that he had that enabled him to do so much greatness. Because we oftentimes, and it's unfortunate that we end up kind of boxing people in, right? Like you see a lot of black athletes where they have a message to share, and then you even have heard people say, just shut up and play your sport. Like, what? Excuse me? Like, I'm one of the top people, 1,000 in the world. Like, I put in the work to get the platform, and now I'm going to use it. And I think that is where most athletes are trying to get to, that they're getting to a place in their life where it's like, this doesn't define me. Like the abilities that I have to get this platform, yes, I've earned it. I've earned the ability to provide for my family, or earned the ability to build generational wealth, but that does not confine me from using this platform for things that I'm passionate about. And you don't, and see, Kobe had the confidence, but he also had the work ethic. So when he spoke about an issue, you knew that if he answered it, that he had already studied up on it, that he had already thought and contemplated and legitimately had a statement on it. Right? He didn't have an issue telling people that if he didn't have an answer at the time, that he just didn't have an answer. Right? Like he's not going to be kind of roped into anything that it has little to do with their perception of him. And I think one of the funniest quotes, and he didn't he didn't say it to be funny, but he was talking about when he was playing with Shaq, and he said that there was people that would come up to him, and the fans would say, "Oh, you only won those championships because you played with Shaq." And he said that didn't bother him. He said when it did bother him was when Shaq said that, right? Because see, Kobe wasn't really concerned about the ignorance of, and that's what I would call it ignorance, right, of just the average person that doesn't have a general understanding. If you're just watching the news and you're believing the hyperbole, then you know what, that's just not even worth converting a person like that. But if you are someone who is in the fabric, who is in the know and should have an understanding, that was where you crossed the line. And so I've always just really appreciated kind of just the honesty and the candor and the fact that he did mirror the winner's mindset of confidence and work ethic. And so if you are looking to have a winner's mindset, if you are looking to chase happiness, if you're looking to change the way that your life is, you have to ask yourself if you are willing to do what is necessary. We're not talking about what is reasonable, because what is reasonable is not the same as what is necessary. What I'm saying is, are you willing, as Kobe had said, his dad told him, right? We're not even talking about the fact that it was like something that he thought of. We're saying that this is what was instilled in him and what his dad was willing to do in his pursuit of greatness, and that he wanted to give that to his son, where it's like, look, man, if you need a drink and you can't get off the court because the score doesn't allow it or because something's going on, just drink the sweat off your jersey. Right, I want you to think about something in your life that you have this desire to achieve and to create, but you haven't really put in all that you can. And again, not what's reasonable, but what are you willing to put in what it takes? Because you find that on the path of greatness, on the pursuit of excellence, that when you are looking to change the fabric of the world, that you have to first start with yourself. That you can't demand more of other people than you are willing to put out on yourself. And that was why Kobe could demand so much of people, because he was putting out so much himself. He didn't ask anything that he wasn't already putting out. And that really is the power of leadership. If you want the ability to change other people, then you have to be willing to show them that you're in the trenches with them. You're not pointing from the back saying, go do that. You're out in front saying, let's go here. And it's just such a brilliant thing. And it's a shame that I think we missed out the most on the idea of how the world would have looked with like 50, 100, 60 years of what Kobe was trying to instill, that winner's mindset, in the next generation and in anyone who interacted with him. But that'll be a mindset moment, and I'm always thankful for our time together. I'm only asking, if you enjoyed this, to just subscribe, leave a comment, let me know, and then we'll keep going from there. Until next time, continue blessings on your journey to become the champion of your dream life. And as always, better self, better wealth.